Marc Leishman is facing the end of his PGA career after running 30 consecutive majors now that he's decided to switch over to LIV. While the change has its pros, one of the biggest cons is the loss of credibility he'll have when it comes to the Masters. Considering that it will also predict the rest of his career, we'll look at how Leishman reacted to it. Starting with Leishman's response, the pro golfer says he had to weigh up his options. The problem begins with LIV Golf's unofficial status for its 54-hole no-cut tournaments, which are still not accepted globally. This discrepancy has cost many well-renowned golfers their rank, and Leishman's been one of the biggest victims of this drawback as his world rank has dipped to 68. At the end of the calendar year, when the top 50 players will receive an invite to the Masters, he won't be among them. That's a real tragedy given he's gathered 10 appearances at Augusta National and 3 top 10 finishes in the Masters. If this seems like a hard bargain, Leishman thought it over for a long time before making his decision, and now that it's out there, he's also made sure to let everyone know that he will not regret the move. The 39-year-old pro golfer claimed the dip in rankings was among the cons he had to go over before deciding what was best for him. According to him, he had his time given that he's played for the last 12 or 13 years, and while it would be fun to be a part of more, there's no harm in letting go. Eventually, he chose to join fellow Aussie golfer Cameron Smith in the LIV Series, who's also number 3 worldwide. Together, they bring the richest golf tournament ever held in Australia to Adelaide in April. Next up, what does the future look like for him? Although Leishman has accepted that he won't be able to compete in the Masters, he said that he'd try to qualify for the British Open and the US Open. He also shared that he'd like to be a part of the Masters, but it would be difficult to get to the ranking required. But being the humble person he is, he's fine with just staying at home and watching his good friend and fellow player Cameron Smith compete. One of the pros of choosing LIV Golf will be the long off-season break he'll enjoy. He can take advantage of this break and spend more time in Australia in the coming year. Other than relaxing, he will also be taking on a much larger role in the formation of LIV Golf, given that Greg Norman promised him and Smith a 25% stake in the franchise. They will then be taking the next year to build the Australian franchise. The first Australian leg of LIV, scheduled for 2 weeks after the Masters in April next year, will feature Smith and Leishman as major draws. Becoming a part of the organization in this manner is a great safety net to fall back on once he retires from playing the sport completely. He's entering his 40s soon, so it's no surprise he's been thinking about the future and what will provide him with the most comfort when retirement comes around. Following up with another huge reason that convinced him of the switch. For Leishman, the title of a 6-time winner is just not enough when one could do much more. Most competitors realize that all the trophies in the world don't amount to the one you win on your own soil, and that's exactly what our 39-year-old champion is looking for. The move back to his own country will help him add an Australian major to the wins he's already accumulated during his PGA Tour career. This desire is heightened because he was once extremely close to victory during the 2018 Australian PGA, but finished second as Smith finished first. If his career is drawing closer to its end, one of the big tournaments on Australia is what's missing from it. Leishman is confident about his potential to win now and doesn't want to put it on for too long. Who knows what might happen in the future? Things can get pretty tricky during a person's middle age, and he's been close to it earlier, and it's something he wants, so it makes sense for him to participate as soon as possible. It seems like he won't be wasting any time either. The pro golfer is set to participate in the 2022 Australian PGA Championship at Royal Queensland Golf Club, and on top of that, he's excited for the tournament to begin. The location is familiar to him, and if they haven't redone the field, he's got a good chance of winning. Now for the fans' reactions to the news and Leishman's comments. The Aussie golfer has been a star on the PGA Tour, and fans have loved seeing him on the field and off it. And while his comments don't relay a feeling of regret in the case of his expulsion from the Masters due to the drop in his place in the official World Golf rankings, his fans certainly weren't happy. After the news was revealed on Twitter that he tried to make it to the Masters, Leishman quickly became a hot topic in the world of golf, and fans were commenting left and right on his decision to switch. Out of all the comments, the ones that were positive seemed to appreciate his response to the unfairness of the official World Golf rankings. One user admired the golfer's adult response, which is an unlikely attribute in players who've put their all into their scores. Another user commented that the majors wouldn't be majors if all the best players weren't participating. On the other hand, some fans strongly believe that he's made a bad decision to join the LIV Golf Tour, ruining the golf scene. One such fan expressed his frustration with Leishman for throwing away his legacy when he could have waited until after the President's Cup to switch. He went as far as to call the pro golfer Greggy's bad boy, believing that he's been bought as a pawn by Greg Norman. Multiple users believe that LIV had bred animosity among fans and players, which meant that the PGA owed them nothing. What's more, it's not just the fans who believe that LIV is ruining things for golf. The one and only Rory McIlroy called out Greg Norman for the stalemate that the golf tours face in their dispute. According to the world number one, the only way these issues can end is if Norman leaves his position on the LIV Golf Tour. McIlroy's been a loyal supporter and has voiced his concerns regarding the legal battle between golf's established tours and the Saudi-funded breakaway circuit. The pro golfer sarcastically remarked that the CEO of LIV needs to leave space for an adult in the room who can repair the damage that's been done. And like the fans, he strongly believes that LIV is ruining the landscape of the sport, and before it goes any further, someone needs to sort it out. That someone definitely won't be Norman. The situation now feels like a stalemate as none of the sides are budging and trying to improve things. Finally, Tiger Woods has called out LIV and its leadership. Along with McIlroy, Tiger Woods has also spoken out a lot in support of the PGA Tour as he's been one of the pioneers of golf. He agreed with the 33-year-old McIlroy and claimed that the process could move further if Norman moved away from the situation. And since both parties have sued each other, they need to put a stay on their litigation. A negotiation won't be possible until that happens. This can only come to be if the leadership on their side realizes the negative mark they're making on professional golf. He also added that working with LIV is impossible as they have so much hate for the PGA Tour. The golf icon claimed that since Norman sued them first, they'll back off only after he's done so. And once that happens, the two sides can begin discussions to reach an agreement that suits them. Currently, there's a window of opportunity for both sides to get down to this negotiation as there's some time till the majors come around. But if Norman doesn't seize it, there won't be much of a chance to make amends. That would be the worst case scenario Woods hopes never to face. And if it goes down the same path, things could get ugly in the world of golf as more players leave the PGA Tour, increasing animosity between both factions. And that's all for this video, guys. Do you agree or disagree with Leishman's decision to move to LIV? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and we'll see you in the next one.
It's in these conditions. A little bit of wind can make it really tough, as the scores show. I wanted to try and make three. Went with a 3-iron, a little bit of a soft cut. It was perfect. Hopefully I can get hot on the weekend and shoot a couple of really low ones, which I think.
Take us back to that journey and those trips and what you remember about those.
Yeah, that was.
Get everything you wanted to out of that round today?
I think the second half of the round I did. A lot, that's pretty obvious. But yeah, happy with the day. I mean, game's feeling really good. He plays well. He can control his own destiny, I guess. I can look around it, but it's great. It's tough. Good shots are reward. It's brutal. Greens are a lot quicker today. Pins are tougher. Just making one bogey.
I know you've dealt with rain many times in your past, but how well did the...
Worked hard today. It was a fairly stress-free round, a few...
that aren't hit exactly where you want are going to get affected.